Hey everyone, it's Allie. Stop what you're doing because Filterblade is updated. If you already know what Filterblade is, and that's all you need to know, have fun making your custom filters and enjoy playing the game with a stupid amount of quality of life. If you have no idea what I just said, well, today we're going to go over what filters are, what Filterblade is, and I'm going to show you how you can make more money by simply getting yourself a better filter. At the end of the video, I'm also going to talk about my filter and how I'm going to be supporting it moving forward. And I'm going to show you how you can grab yourself an auto-updating copy of my filter. So if you don't want to ever think about your filter and you want me to do all the work for you, you can simply always have a completely up-to-date version of my filter at all times. In Path of Exile, we have filters. These filters allow us to show or hide different items based off of the rule sets that they follow. These filters are just a giant notepad with a bunch of different statements that are followed in an order. As you can see, this is some real nerd shit. And if you don't know the syntax, if you don't know how to put this together, this is very difficult to actually do manually. And basically nobody really knows how to make a filter because it's, well, so daunting of a task to do. Well, what I'm going to show you today is Filterblade, which is simply just a web interface for your filters that makes it unbelievably easy for you to go to edit whatever you want about your filters or to copy someone else's filter and edit a few portions of it and basically just not have a horrible time setting this up. To show you the power of Filterblade and why literally 100% of the community uses this website for their filters, if I click load on my current filter, and if I go over to customize and go over to the currency, for example, I have Alchemist Ethers and Blacksmith Whetstones showing on my filter. So if you go here in game, you can clearly see that whetstones show up on the ground. Well, let's say I don't want to see these on the ground because they're worthless. If I only had access to normal filters, I'd have to manually type it into Notepad and it'd be kind of annoying. What I could do with Filterblade is I could just hide the E tier where Blacksmith Whetstones are, hit quick save, and because Filterblade works with the PoE website, this filter has now been imported into PoE website under my account and automatically downloaded for me in game. If I just simply click the refresh button, goodbye Whetstones. Just like that, within mere seconds, you can edit something about your filter in a very easy to use web interface and then have it basically immediately be beamed into the game without you having to do anything at all. Before we go any further, I know some people are going to ask, especially the players who are newer to PoE 2, and yes, Filterblade is completely safe. When I mean 100% of the community uses Filterblade, I do truly mean 100% of the player base uses this tool. You are going to have to log into it with your PoE account, so you can link your account to it so it knows where to, well, send your filters, but it is completely okay. Everyone has been using this tool for over 5 years at this point, and it genuinely is completely safe because it's being ran by Neversink, one of the single best human beings on this planet. So with all that out of the way, why don't we talk about how you can go about making your own filter if you, well, want to have a better time. As soon as you log in with your account, all you have to do is just simply click Create New Filter, and you'll be brought to the Overview tab. Here, you have a strictness slider, but as a new player, I don't recommend you going to Uber Strict or Uber Plus Strict, for example. I'd recommend for you just to stick with Strict as a baseline, as, well, we can edit it from there. These are just simply presets. And if we scroll down, we can see all the different things that the filter has by default, how everything looks, and, well, it just gives you an overview of what it would look like in game. We can then go over to the Customize tab and, well, change it to our heart's content. For example, if we want to go over to currency and in the D tier, we see that there's a bunch of currency that you don't really want to pick up. For example, Lesser's Jeweler's Orbs are worth 40 to 1 Exalted, meaning they're kind of worthless. But you do want to see Vol Orbs, for example, because, well, you think that they're worth to pick up. Well, what we could do is open up something like the C tier, for example, and just drag the Vol Orb over to C tier and then just simply hide the D tier. Once we then load this filter into the game, everything in this tier will be completely hidden, but we'll see Vol Orbs because we moved over. We'd also simply just type in here in the base type instead, something like Vol Orb, and just click on it and click Add to just immediately move it wherever we wanted to. Filterblade has quite a lot of other really useful uses as well. For example, with uniques. A lot of the uniques in Path of Exile 2 are literally just worth nothing. Filterblade and Neversink made a few tiers for them and tried to put all the uniques in their respective value pools. For example, if a unique from the tier 1 pool drop, it's probably worth 10, 20 plus Exalted, if not several div. Same goes for tier 2, where it's probably worth 5 to 10 Exalted at a minimum, and so on and so forth. And given that there's a lot of uniques, and a lot of them are just kind of completely garbage, there's a whole tier specifically for them, which, well, if you hide, suddenly you don't see a bunch of random uniques that you might not know the price of or go and price check and basically just figure out that they're worth absolutely nothing. There are quite a lot of different modules to this, and what I want to show you is probably one of the single most important ones that will currently actually make you more money if you go and use yourself a Filterblade filter. Obviously, you can do this manually, but it's kind of annoying to do and most people would have no idea how to do them. But if we come to the chancing section of the filter and go chancing bases, this will make it so emerald rings, heavy belts, sapphire rings, and stellar amulets, if they drop at white quality, will always show up. Currently, these are popular bases for people to use Orbs of Chances on to attempt to hit one of the big ticket unique items. And what I'd recommend for you to do is to remove emerald ring, heavy belt, and sapphire ring, as those aren't really worth anything, and specifically just have stellar amulets. These are currently used to chance for Ashementis. And because Ashementis is such an extremely expensive item, and because it is so sought after, literal white stellar amulets are currently selling for about 20 exalted each, meaning if you just have this roll on, you're now just going to randomly start seeing a bunch of stellar amulets, which you can very quickly and very easily just put up for sale for 20 exalted, and people will literally foam at the mouth and come run at you to try and buy these from you. This is pretty much what the general gist of Filterblade is like, where everything is ordered in a very simple and easy way to follow. And you can simply just go through each of these different categories and just, well, remove or change whatever you feel like it. For example, let's say you don't want to see small gold piles because they get kind of annoying. We can just simply come here and turn off medium gold piles in both the campaign and an endgame. So now suddenly, the only time we'll see gold is if it drops in 2,500 or 5,000 bits at once. Let's say we want to make it very obvious where it is on the map. We can go and change the settings for it. So for example, instead of there being a plus on the minimap wherever it drops, we can instead make it be a star, and we can make it be red instead. We can also give it a loop beam. So for example, we can make it have a blue loop beam. We can also change the background of it to where if we don't want the background to be black, we can make it white. So we can then go and change the text to, I don't know, something like that. And then we can also change the border to, I don't know, red. If you like what this looks like, great. Have fun with it. You can do whatever you want, as every single one of these rules is very easy and very customizable to basically make your filter look exactly the way you want it to look. The final little bit of this I want to show you that is kind of important for you to be aware of, because it'll most likely be the part of the filter you're going to be super happy with, is the endgame rare and crafting section. What you can do with this section is you can specifically turn off quote unquote bad items, so you only see items that are worth picking up. For example, in the weapons and armor section, we can go and turn off tier 4 items, which are garbage. There is a matrix down here, which is made by Neversink to tier everything in the game. Meaning, for example, all the things in orange are tier 4, aka kind of bad. All the things in yellow are tier 3, somewhat better. All in green are tier 2, a little bit better. And tier 1 are quote unquote the best. If you want to change this, for example, if I think advanced jeweler's gloves are meant to be tier 1, I can just simply click on tier 1 and then click on the gloves, and now they're tier 1. And they would show up if tier 1 is turned on. So this way I can go and turn off everything tier 3 related. I could turn off everything tier 2 related. And now I'm only going to be able to see rare items on the ground that specifically are of the best possible tier, meaning they're most likely to be worth something. You can do this for rings as well, where we can turn off all the bad rings, all the bad belts. You can basically play around with all this and make your filter only show you items that are worth picking up. Finally, if you don't want to see all those pesky different little low tier waystones, well, we can come over to the other endgame items section, to waystones, to normal, and well, turn off tier 1 through, let's say, 14 waystones, so you no longer see any low tier waystone in your filter at all and only see high tier waystones. It's pretty straightforward how it works, and the customization for it is also fairly to the point. The interface for all this is fairly easy to play around with. And if you ever want to see where your filter might look like, you come to the Simulate tab, swap the zone level, because some of these filter options are based off a level, to let's say 81, for example, and then click Generate Loot. And it's just going to generate you a random pile of loot to show you some of the things that might show through, show you some of the things that don't show through. We can even use valuable loot to see some of the better items. And if, for example, we see something on here that we don't want to see or shouldn't be turned on, I can click on, for example, the Arcanist Ether. It'll immediately pop up the rule in the Customize tab, and I just click Hide, and suddenly those are hidden. Let's say I don't want to see skill gems. Same thing. Click on those, hide. I don't have to necessarily come and specifically find where they are. Another really nifty thing about this is if you have an item that you find in game that you don't want to see, you can simply pick it up off the ground and then Control C over it, come over to Filterblade, go to the Simulate tab, click on Import from PoE, and then Control V in here. It will take the item they copied in-game and immediately find the rule that is relevant to it. And this just allows you to, well, hide rare jewels if you don't want to see rare jewels. The same thing could go for something like currency. Let's say for some reason you don't want to see divine orbs. You can Control C on a divine orb, come over to Filterblade, Control V in here, and well, hide divine orbs if you want to. It is very easy and very simple to use Filterblade, and is literally the greatest tool that is ever given to us. Final thing to show you, if you want to make your filters a little bit prettier, is the Style tab, where you can mass change the colors of everything fairly easily. For example, let's say this background orange, which is used for soul cores as well as all these other rules, you don't want it to be orange and you instead want it to be something like green. Well, we can change it over to something like green, and then if we go over to Currency tab and see, these are now green instead. We can do this for anything, and it's going to take you a little bit to know exactly what is where, but with a little bit of tinkering around, we can make a filter that looks pretty and is unique to our liking. For example, now all of our currency is yellow, with the exception of the high tier stuff. And well, we can even go and change the high tier stuff to now make some sort of interesting green base theme on our filter. From here, I can click on this specifically and, maybe change the red text here to something like white along with a border. And there you go. Just like that, we're able to make a portion of filter be green themed. And well, you can go through the styles and pretty much change everything you want about it to make your filter look exactly like you want. You can change the borders, you can change the text, you can do everything through here. The single best portion of this is the export to PoE button. When you come here, you're going to have to name your filter. So you can name it whatever you want it. You can then choose if you want it to auto load this specific filter every time you open up Filterblade. And from here, we can change the export on quick save over from none over to sync. What this is going to now do is when you click sync or download and then click save and sync, this is now going to take this filter that you made, is going to upload it into your PoE account. And well, if I go over to in-game and then hit escape, go to options and come to game, as you can see, the filter I just made is now automatically downloaded in-game. Again, if I were to go back here and make any changes about it, I can then click quick save up here. It will automatically export it over to PoE, and then all you have to do is click the refresh button and your custom filter is automatically updated for you in-game. It is so simple and so smooth to use that it makes your experience with PoE so much better than before. Finally, what I want to talk about is going to be my personal filter. In the description below, there's going to be 2 links. One is going to bring you to this page, which is my account's filter page. And here for you, unfortunately, this is my view of it, but for you, there'll be a little follow button that you can click on that will then allow you to follow my filter. As you can see, for example, 4,000 people follow my main PoE1 filter. And from here, if I were to ever make a change to my personal filter and I hit quick save, then all you have to do is simply click refresh in game or just change zones so you don't even have to think about this. And whatever change I made to my filter will automatically be made to your filter in PoE2 instantaneously. There's also going to be a copy button that you can click on if you want to make a copy of whatever it looks like. And then from there, you're free to change as much as you want to. There's also going to be a link directly to my Filterblade profile where you can simply just click load on my filter. It'll load it for you in Filterblade. And from here, you can just save a copy of it for yourself on your own account. And then you're free to customize it as much as you want to. That's all I really have to say in this video. I hope you have fun with filters. I hope you have fun with Filterblade. And I am so happy that this is now finally in Path of Exile 2. It is literally the greatest tool that we have access to. And what I do want to mention very quickly here at the end is if you do want to support Filterblade, and if you do want to support Neversink, which I highly would recommend for you to do, given how much this man has done for the community, him and a few other people are genuinely the whole reason that Path of Exile have gone as big as it has. I'd recommend for you to, if you want to support him, to either subscribe on his Patreon, which actually gives you a few Filterblade features, or to just donate to him if you want to. It's completely up to you, but Neversink is a pillar of our community, and I am more than happy to shill out for him because he is one of the few people who actually deserve it. I hope you have fun making your own custom filters. I hope you enjoy Filterblade. I hope I taught you at least something new about either how to use Filterblade or how to make your gameplay experience even better. And with all that said, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment in the comments below, and I'd be more than happy to help you whenever I can. I also stream on Twitch every single day, so feel free to come by Twitch and ask me any of your questions there. You're also free to come by if you want to come and hang out with all the other cuties and be a part of our community. And with all that said, cuties, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you all in the next video.